Hi. Uh, Good day, everyone. Good morning to you all. I think it's 12 o'clock here in China, Shenzhen, and I just want to respond to an issue trending on the internet. And I woke up this morning and I visited YouTube and I saw a video about a guy, a Ghanaian national based in China. He's a YouTuber with the name Wadamaya. And I watched his video on an issue, the issue, and I must say that prompted me to make up this video. Yeah, he responded to the trending issue that Ghana Immigration Service, Ghana Immigration Authority, got some of its officers to take up Chinese lessons at the Confucius Institute in Ghana, University of Ghana, Legon, to polish up or to learn Chinese language in order to help them to communicate with the Chinese nationals who visit Ghana. And I saw that on Facebook too, and it looks like there's a backlash back in Ghana. And I think I don't agree with them, because it's like people want to use that to set up an online revolution. And with the Maya, you encouraging that people should link up and to link up and all that. I don't, for this one, yeah, I do support some of the actions that you take online. For example, recently there was an issue about this Chinese national going to Ethiopia to ridicule some of the cultures that is in Ethiopia, and there was a movement and you were able to get result. But on this issue, my brother, I think I would differ from you. One, Ghana immigration, China is now a power. It is one thing that we fail to acknowledge. China is now a power that you cannot ignore. All over the world, countries have started formulating policy towards China because they've come to realize that China is now a power. And Chinese tourists are hotcake in the world tourism sector now. Chinese tourists are hotcake because they are the biggest spenders in the tourism industry now. If you go to Europe, it's there. If you go to America, it's there. The Americans recently have to change their visa policy and started issue a 10 years tourist visa to Chinese national. I don't think the Americans did that because they were fond of the Chinese. After all, they are there. They are competing with them. But studies, research have proven that Chinese tourists are the biggest spender all over around the world. When they come, they spend a lot of money. They put money into the economy, which grows local economy. So countries that are very proactive have started formulating friendly policy towards the Chinese tourists. And I am sure that is the initiative Ghana immigration is also embarking on. I would have been very offended if the officers were flew all the way to Beijing or to China to come and learn the language. But when I realized that they were trained in Legon at the Confucius Institute, I said, well, this time we have kept money back in Ghana. So, Wadamaya, this is not the time for you to be national, to be whipping people's national instinct of this popular idea that, oh, Ghana is a sovereign state and China is colonizing us. Why do we have to learn their language when they are visiting our country? Because we say that in Rome, what the Romans do. You should look at it from the point of view of a front desk. You are selling something to the public, and there is this customer who has so much money that he wants to buy some of your goods, and you are not able to communicate with him. You are the one selling the goods to him. So it is best for you to go and learn his language, to understand his psyche, in order for you to interact and deal better with him, to make the best out of him. That is what Ghana immigration is simply doing. I do understand the fear, and I do understand the experience that our history with our encounter with the Chinese has always been that, oh, galamseyers, they are like scavengers. They are coming to our country to pollute our water bodies, rivers, take our gold. They are not law abiding, mess up our country, go away. But Wadamaya, you live in China and you should know better. I was very disappointed when you started making this nationalistic comment. You are whipping people's sentiment that they should contact the president. And no, Ghana as a country should have a policy for China. Chinese tourism. Last year, China punished South Korea by not allowing Chinese nationals to visit South Korea on tourist purpose. And South Korea economy really suffered. Chinese tourists are hot cake around the world. They are the new gold now. You go to Australia, if you go to Europe, if you go to America. Do you think the Americans were just stupid to issue 10 years visa for Chinese nationals? No. They have realized that, look, China is becoming prosperous all the time, and its citizens have money to spend. They spend. I mean, research has proven that the Chinese tourists are the biggest spenders all over the world. So everybody wants a piece of the pie. So I'm sure this is the initiative that Ghana Immigration, in conjunction with Tourism Ministry, took that brought up this policy. That, oh, the Chinese, we all know their proficiency in English is very bad. So if you're going to have a policy that we're going to invite them to come here as tourists, why don't we have our front desk? People at the front desk, let us give them some Chinese skills so that they will be able to communicate with them. It is not a big deal. We haven't lost our sovereignty. And I must recommend this initiative because China is a power. When you look at China's influence around the world, you cannot compare that to Ghana. We are just a tiny country. Even though we are a sovereign country, look at the size of our economy. It's nothing to write home about. Doesn't it? Have you asked yourself, why is that these days every Ghanaian president that comes to power is seeking Chinese money? Why? At a Mills came, he came to China. They said, oh, they are bringing $3 billion. President Kufuor came. They came to China. They said they are bringing money. Currently, Nadu came and said they are bringing money. So that should tell you that the trend, that China is now a power. So China is no more the country that we think, or we see like an ordinary country. Look, the countries around the world have started taking China seriously. And a typical example of that country is Ethiopia. I flew to Ethiopia 17 years ago. And recently, last year, I flew Ethiopian Airlines. When I look at the skyline, I said, wow. And all those investments are Chinese money. They are Chinese investors. So if Ghana is taking that initiative, I think it's a move we need to commend them and ask our government to do more. You yourself stated that research has proven that Ghanaian nationals, Ghana is the only highest African country that sends more students to China. So if now the country is encouraging its officers to learn Chinese language, you turn around and you bash them. Look, if you go to Europe, if you go to America, certain schools have formulated Chinese curriculum and they are learning Chinese Mandarin because China is now the power. China is now a superpower. China has come to stay. So people are training their children to learn and speak, to learn how to read and write Mandarin so that they will take some of the opportunity that China will offer in the nearby future. So what is this sentiment about whipping people's nationalistic sentiment? Oh, this Ghana is a sovereign. We are a sovereign state, but in the global village, we are nothing to write home about. I'm a Ghanaian. I'm proud of my country. I'm very patriotic. But when it comes to this issue, I think the immigration got it right. They want a pie of the Chinese tourist sector. And we all know the Chinese are not good in speaking English. I mean, their proficiency is bad. So, and in tourism, you are selling something to them. So if you're selling something to them, you need to understand the psyche of your customers. Enable for you to communicate with them, and that is exactly what the immigration have taken the initiative on. So why all this noise about China is conquering Africa? China is doing that? No. China has come to stay. There were times when there was a Japanese boom, people studied Japanese. In the Soviet era, when the Soviets were the superpower, people studied the Russian language. Now is the time of China, and China has come to stay. If you go to Europe, it's happening. So please let us, those of us who have the privilege to live in China, let us not be anti-China, because we've understood the Chinese thing. I know they are some of their perception about Africa is not good, but you blame the Western media because that is the picture they portrayed us for long. It is us, we the new generation, to right the wrong. Let us interact with each other, and gradually the Chinese will understand us. Ghana as a country has always been an island of China from independence. We're the first African countries to have a diplomatic ties with China. And we have set aside, and countries have taken over. The Kenya have taken over, the Ethiopians have taken over, and we are not coming on board. So let us not punish our government for becoming proactive towards China. It is a good move. It is a good move. I believe that if cultures interact, there is something good that happens. Can you just imagine ECOWAS as a bloc having a policy towards China that we say we need investment to link up all the capital cities in ECOWAS with a Chinese bullet train, so that you will be in Abuja, and the next 30 minutes you are in Accra, the next 30 minutes you are in Lomé, the next 30 minutes you are in Dakar, the next 30 minutes you are in Yamoussoukro. Look at how it will boost the entire economy of West Africa. This is what we should be encouraging, than to whipping people's sentiment that, oh, China is taking over, China is taking over, China is taking over. Please, 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 on this, Wadamaya, I disagree with you. I know you're in Ghana. I'll also be coming to Ghana by next week, and I'll try and link up with you. I salute you all. Thank you. God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make us great and strong. Thank you.